Hey, what's up everybody, this is GalacticJerry and today I'm bringing you a couple more matches from the Battle of Hoenn online competition for Pokemon ORAS. For this battle right here, my opponent decided to bring a Breloom and my Lotec and a Sableye. And over on my team I decided to bring the Crobat, the Metagross and the Gardevoir. I can't remember what his other three Pokemon were, but you know, I saw that Breloom right there. I know I needed to bring my Crobat for the Brave Bird. So with that being said, let's go ahead and press play on this thing. Hopefully I'm able to remember exactly what I did. So I lead off with the Crobat, of course, just for the U-turn and scout, and my opponent leads off with the Sableye. At this point I was expecting a Will-O-Wisp, which I do, but it's not that big of a deal because, you know, like I said, I don't really have this Crobat for attacking. I just have it for toxic stalling. And you know, I go for toxic just to, you know, badly poison the Sableye, just in case it decides to stay in battle. You know, the poison will do more damage at the end of each turn. But unfortunately I am burned. Then the Sableye goes for the taunt, so I won't be able to use toxic or roost anymore. But luckily for me, I decided to go for a U-turn. And why did I decide to go for a U-turn? Okay, so I do switch into my Gardevoir after U-turning. I'm able to trace a Prankster, which is good because I have Will-O-Wisps, and that will come in handy because, you know, I'll be able to burn some of his Pokemons with a priority. So you know, I switch into my Gardevoir. Sableye goes for a taunt, and I go for a Moonblast. I'm not sure if I was expecting a taunt or not, but you know, I'm glad I decided to go for a Moonblast, because that way I don't have to deal with that Sableye anymore. But unfortunately, he was able to use the taunt, so I'm not going to be able to use Will-O-Wisp or Protect into the taunt wears off. But instead, I decided to stay in battle and go for a Psychic. Hopefully, I'm gonna get this special attack drop. But you know, fortunately I didn't get it. Instead, my Lotec goes for the Scald, and of course it burns me on the first try. So this burn is going to get annoying, even though I have leftovers. But I think at this point I decided to switch out. Yeah, I do switch out into my Crobat, I think. Yeah, just to try to poison this thing. So you know, it goes for another Scald, but it won't be able to burn me because I'm already burned. I'm able to recover a little more with the Black Sludge. Take some burn damage. I know I'm going to be faster. At this point, you know, just as long as Toxic doesn't miss, then I'll be good, I suppose. So I'm able to land the Toxic. So this my Lotec is going to be battle poisoned as well. My Lotec goes for the Ice Beam. I was not expecting it to survive, but I do. And even though I recover a little more with the Black Sludge, I'm not going to be able to survive the burn damage. Which just sucks because I really want to toxic stall this thing out. You know, next turn I would probably use Roost, and you know, the Ice Beam won't be enough. It won't be super effective because of the Roost. But then I decided to go into my Metagross. I Mega Evolve, of course. I think I decided to go for a Power Up Punch just to try to get greedy and, you know, boost my attack stat. But then the my Lotec. Okay, so yeah, go Power Up Punch. Doesn't do much. I think this Lotec probably has the ability Marble Skull. I think that's what it's called, you know, when your status afflicted or something, poison or burn, you know, the defense stat gets increased by 50%. So I go for a Power Up Punch, then my Lotec goes for the Scald, and in the first try it's able to burn my Metagross, which sucks because, you know, Metagross is a physical attacker, and I'm going to be taking more damage. Not more damage, just damage at the end of each turn. I go for another Power Up Punch just to try to bring my attack stat close to where it was. Meanwhile, the Lotec goes for another Scald. The Toxic, you know, is taking effect. And I think at this point I decided to use Sand Hit, but because I wasn't too sure if the next Power Up Punch was going to be enough to take down the Lotec, and I needed enough HP to try to do some more damage to whatever his next Pokemon was going to be with the Bullet Punch, you know, because it's a priority move. So now he decides to bring out his last Pokemon, the Breloom, and of course I'm going to go for a Bullet Punch, knowing that I'm faster, just to break the Focus Sash, and it's able to do half. and you know the Breloom goes for the Mach Punch. You just try to hit me first, but you know I'm faster. Then I go into my Gardevoir. At this point, I was not expected to win the battle. I am able to trade the Technician, but that's kind of worthless to me. The Breloom for some reason goes for Rock Tomb. I should just use Bullet Seed or something like that. Maybe he was expecting my Gardevoir to be faster than his Breloom. But you know, either way, I'm going to use Psychic, and of course it's going to be enough to take down the Breloom. And luckily for me, you know, I was burned, so you know, just in case the Breloom has Spore, it wouldn't be effective. But you know, I was able to get the victory for this match right here. Now for this other battle, this one right here, my opponent decided to bring the Lantern, a Cacturn, and a Crobat as well, and I decided to bring a Crobat, a Dusclops, and the Metagross, yes. So I lead off with the Crobat, and I think my opponent also leads off with the Crobat. Yes, it does. So my opponent decides to switch out, and I went with the U-turn. So I get a free switch in, I think, at this point. Let's see. So yeah, I do go for U-turn. I'm able to get a free switch in, like I said. But I'm not sure what Pokemon I decided to switch into. I think I decided to switch into my Metagross. Yes, okay. So yeah, it switches into the Metagross. I Mega Evolve, of course. I think I go with the Power Up Punch. As usual, try to boost my attack stat. And you know, just to Mega Evolve my Metagross. Hopefully, you know, this Lantern doesn't have Scald. But I'm pretty sure it does. And if it does, you know, hopefully it doesn't burn me, because that would suck a lot. Instead, go for the Thunder Wave. You know, that's very unfortunate because my Metagross is pretty fast. So I'm gonna have to rely on Bullet Punch from now on, if I'm going to be able to try to hit someone. But then, you know, the Lantern goes for the Bolt Switch. I go for another Power Up Punch. I'm able to bring down this Cacturn to its Focus Sash. And you know, at this point, I was expecting a Sucker Punch, because I'm pretty sure all Cacturns carry Sucker Punch. At least all competitors Cacturns. And it does go for a Sucker Punch. I don't get the Parahax that turn. I'm able to get the Bullet Punch, and I'm able to take down the Cacturn. So you know, I still have enough HP to take another hit before fainting, I mean. So you know, I go for another Bullet Punch. Luckily I didn't get the Parahax that turn, but unfortunately the Crobat is able to survive and goes for this Heat Wave. For some reason Crobat has Heat Wave. I'm not sure if that's the best move to have on a Crobat, but you know, it could work, I suppose. But then I go into my Dusclops just to try to burn this thing. I think I should have just gone with the what do you call it, a Nightshade this turn, and instead I go for a Will-O-Wisp. I'm able to land it, but wait, this Crobat has the Lumberry, so it's able to cure itself, which sucks because that would have really come in handy. And you know, he decides to switch out. Meanwhile, the Toxic is going to do more damage. I go for another Will-O-Wisp just to try to burn the Crobat, but this time it misses, I think. And now, you know, the the Lantern goes for a Bolt Switch. You know, at this point it's clearly trying to stall my Dusclops, you know, so the Toxic can eventually take me down. And then decides to go into the Crobat. I go for another Will-O-Wisp. I'm finally able to land it. You know, just as long as this Crobat doesn't have Roost, then I should be good. But like I said, you know, the Toxic keeps taking more damage and more damage at the end of each turn. And then the Crobat goes for Hidden Power. I'm not sure what Hidden Power type it was, because it wasn't super effective or not super effective at all. It was neutral. So then I decided to go for Nightshade, the move I should have used before. But instead, you know, my Dusclops keeps taking more damage, and at this point I wasn't too sure if I was going to be able to take another hit. So the Lantern comes out, it goes for Bolt Switch. I'm able to survive it with 2 HP. I go for the Curse because, you know, I can't really do much anymore with this Dusclops. I wanted to go for the Pain Split, but you know, like I said, the Toxic keeps taking more damage and more damage at the end of each turn. But you know, like I said, luckily I was able to use this curse, so that way the Lantern loses I think it's, what is it, 1/4 of its HP at the end of each turn. It activates the Citrus Berry, brings him back to over half HP. Then I go to my last Pokemon, the Crobat. I'm able to get the Toxic off. And I think at this point I was hoping I was going to be able to survive either a Volt Switch or an Ice Beam, which I do. And it doesn't freeze me, thank goodness. I'm able to recover a little more with the Block Sledge. And then at this point I just had to go for a Roost just to try to Toxic stall this thing out and, you know, let the Curse also take effect. So yeah, I do go for a Roost. I'm able to go back to full health, and whatever move he decides to use, either Volt Switch or Ice Beam, is not going to be super effective for that turn thanks to Roost. And I'm able to recover a little more with the Black Sludge. Lantern takes more damage from the poison, and it goes down to the Curse. So, you know, I think Dusclops was the real MVP in this match, but especially because he was able to use Curse just before it fainted. But you know, I hope you enjoyed these two matches, and if you did, make sure to hit the like button and let me know what you think in the comment section below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you know, it'd be really cool if you did. Your support really does mean everything, and definitely gives me a reason to keep uploading. But for the meantime, thanks for watching, guys, and I guess I'll catch you next time.